All right, guys, we have made a good bit of progress. Most of it's been made at dusk or dark with the use of the floodlights off the house. So that night I started putting the wall up. I wasn't thinking about the wind. That's definitely something you need to think about. It wasn't crazy windy that night, but it did get windier that next day, unfortunately. The wall didn't collapse because I had it staked down. As I was putting it up, I basically used a support and just a couple screws there to hold it. So I already had that, but when I put it up that night, I didn't have this top piece on for the liner. So during the day, that wall there did kind of wave in and out a little bit, and you can see some crease marks where it kind of buckled a little bit. Nothing major. Most of this is going to be in tension, but just something to be aware of. I've come through, got most of the supports up. Like I said, that next day it got windy. That night it got even windier. So I actually parked the truck here to try and block some of the wind. And then that night I also put up a good bit of the uprights. I put up all of these to give the wall some more support. And I tied everything down. So you can actually see where the wind was strong enough, it actually pushed that part in a little bit. And even down here, it seems like a big sail when it's windy. So we've been real busy right now with kids and sports and stuff. So I don't get a lot of time to work on it. Usually it's in the evening when it's pretty well dusk. And I'm working with the floodlights off the house, so haven't gotten a lot on the camera because the camera just doesn't work well like that. So we'll get back to it. Hopefully we get some time today. Later today, we don't have any sports, so hopefully we'll get some video of finishing putting this thing up and getting the liner in. I do have a couple. I'm gonna spray some put down. I've got some taro ant dust that I'm gonna put in here and try to kill some of these ants out. I've already killed some of them. I did one application already, and then I regraded the sand. So go ahead and do another application. Alright guys, I am just sort of smoothing out a little additional sand here. Probably wondering why, because I've got the pool cove in place. Part of it is because I poured that little base of concrete and sand, or cement and sand. So it is kind of hard down here, so I do want to make sure there's extra protection right there, because the coving doesn't completely cover that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run around here and smooth it all out. It might be too dark, but we'll see. All right, guys, here's the progress we made last night. I was out here till nearly 11 o'clock. It's Friday. I took a vacation day off work, try and get this finished. We were supposed to go camping. That sort of fell through, but show you some aggravation here that well, number one, just climbing over the wall, sliced open my pants. Didn't cut myself though, luckily. See the boom trucks out here. I used the boom to set the liner in the pool. The liner probably weighs 60, 75 pounds, but it's just big and awkward more than anything. And I didn't want to take a chance tearing it because all this stuff is real sharp. My hands are all sliced up. And the wall is not super rigid, so if you're like sort of leaning on the wall, you risk pushing the wall down. So I brought the boom truck over here. It was parked over there where it usually has been sitting. I'd actually backed it into the spot. It was nighttime. Didn't get out and look around because I already backed it in there. I didn't figure pulling it out was gonna be a problem. Pull it forward, blow out a tire. There's a big gash in it right there where a big piece of angle iron hit it. So aggravation number 2. And then it wasn't windy yesterday, which I had all these straps on it anyway, so it's wind's kind of picked up again today a little bit. Aggravation number 3 is this pool does not have a U-bead liner. You see the U-bead liner use these steel top tracks to hold it in place. This pool has an overlap liner, which the steel top track goes on the wall, liner goes over that, and then you have a plastic coupler, which was not ordered with my kit. So I did go through a pool place here in town that they just forgot to order that. They weren't thinking about that with the overlap liners because they don't sell very many of them. So it's Friday. They're gonna look around, see if they've got any laying around in storage. They don't think they do, and it'll be Tuesday if they have to order them. So we'll see how it goes. The aggravations just continue to mount, but I'm gonna set you up and do a little time lapse of me putting all the top plates on, or some of the top plates, and stretching the liner over and starting to fill. Alright guys, there it is. The seams are pretty well lined up. I got a little bit light over here on the liner pulling down, but I think I got plenty. I've got most all of the wrinkles out except coming up to the walls. I think as it fills out, that'll expand out and be okay because there's a lot of air volume behind here right now. So, and as I'm starting to fill the deep end, I can sort of start working those wrinkles too. So I think it's as good as it's going to get. Like anything else more is just trying to be a perfectionist. And if anything, I might try to pull some of this back this way, but that deep end's going to expand a lot. So we'll fill it up and see how it goes. I've got pretty even liner protrusion most of the way around. I've got a little extra in the deep end because I figure I'll have to let more slide over into this deeper section, because that's pretty contoured to the wall, but there's a big gap over here, so I expect a lot of that'll come back into the pool as it fills. We'll get filling and check back on in a little while. All right guys, we're about 15 minutes in, maybe 20 at the most. Filling up the deep end. It's looking pretty good so far. I'll keep coming around here pretty regularly and minding the liner. But it looks good so far. No wrinkles. Alright guys, it's the next morning. I did not put water in overnight. I just had water going in during the day, so probably, let's see, 6-7 hours worth of hose water. So the bottom is pretty well filled out. I do have a couple wrinkles right here where this deep end has a curve in it that I might get in and try to smooth out just a little bit by hand. The walls are looking good. Shouldn't be any wrinkles there. And we've paid out a lot of the liner. And actually it just sort of worked itself in for the most part. I would basically just come by and do this and make sure it's not real tight up here and trying to pull these caps in. And that's really all it took. Maybe that's not the exact proper way, but I didn't want to put a lot of tension up on the top of this wall. So, so far everything's looking good. We'll keep filling with the hose. And then we've got a big water tank. I might try and go get, I think it's 500 gallon, and try to run some water in the dump truck. We'll see about that if I got time today. Alright guys, I let the water run all day yesterday and all night. So here we are. I can reach down and touch the water. And by that long I had a pretty good idea how fast it was filling, because I don't want it to fill up over this hole. So I still got another, I probably got a full hand length there down to the water. So I'm getting close to being able to have the water close enough to put these fittings in without worrying about the liner dropping or anything. And they want the water to be close to those fittings so it doesn't stretch the liner and try to tear it. So with family events and things, it just didn't work out to get the tank and run the dump truck. So we're just doing it the slow way with the hose, and we'll keep going. Alright guys, you might be wondering why this pool is basically full with the liner wrapped over the edge. It is an overlap liner. So let's see here. The manufacturer of the pool, basically their coping strips, you use the metal piece here, and then you wrap the liner over it, and then there's a rounded piece that goes over the top and holds the liner to this. It's got its own plastic coping strip that goes over the metal coping strip per the instructions. My kit didn't come with any of that. It didn't come with any coping strips for an overlap liner, which would be like, this would be for a normal overlap liner. Not what this is what my pool store gave me, which is just these normal coping strips. And then the metal coping strip will go over the top of these. So it's been a little bit of a mess in that regard. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and run these, because the wall is, this is not going to hurt this liner. It's not going to cut it for sure. So And there's not a lot of downward pull on the liner because, again, the pool's full. So, I mean, the liner is pretty well where it's going to be. So, you've got so much water pressure coming against the wall that the liner doesn't want to go up or down. So, we should be in good shape. I will get these installed. All right, YouTube, it is pretty well done. Again, notice the ground's all wet and muddy. And it is very windy. So what I was doing, I think I already showed it in another video, I was taking this metal coping off because the liner was draped over everything, and then taking the top runners off and then working around putting the black plastic coping on, then the metal coping down. And I was all the way over there by the truck done, and all the way over here done, and had it looped over. And it's not even that windy right now. I started that this morning, so I started working on it, and my wife was up late. She needed a little bit of a nap, so I let her take a little nap. And during that nap, it just got crazy windy out here. And because this morning it was dead calm, got crazy windy, blew the liner into the pool. Pool lost 3/4 of its volume, washed a bunch of sand out, but we were able to get the liner pulled back into place. We got some places around here where the sand got washed out. And actually, an interesting little trick is we're pulling the liner out, dumping sand down in there, and then pouring water in behind it. And then with that water, you can work wrinkles out, you can do anything. So that water balances the pressure, and then you can work your divots out. We still got one little bump of sand there. We didn't get completely smooth, but pretty good. Good enough. If it trashes the liner, I'm over it this year. Alright guys, we're about 2 months since that last video. That was the day we were almost done putting all the coping strips around. The wind blew the last part of the liner in. The liner floated and sort of messed up the bottom of our sand. I was over it. I was done. I had a lot of aggravations during this project. It had stretched out longer than I wanted. It was getting closer to the end of the summer. So I was just done. I was ready to leave it. So I wasn't at that point ready to take the entire liner back out and start over from scratch. So we ended up just kind of smoothing the liner out as best we could. And we did, we got it pretty smooth. There's a couple undulations around that back corner wall over there, but nothing too bad. Nothing you can't brush any debris out of. The pool vacuum works pretty well too in those areas. Doesn't work perfect, but it does get the job done. So it's just aggravation I decided to deal with. I don't know that it really hurts the liner long term. Maybe this coming year, if we ever have an issue and have to drain the pool, I'll probably redo the liner at that point. At least redo the sand. But I don't really see that happening. I think we'll just live with it the way it is. And we've got a lot of enjoyment out of it. We really have got a lot of use out of this pool through the summer here. And so far it's in good shape, and we're gonna try to keep it that way. We will be, we're winterizing it right now. Just got the pillow in it, tied down, fixed to put a cover over it. When we do that, disconnect all this. We're gonna move this over. We'll bring this deck out to the pool, and which that'll be a project coming up. So hope you guys liked the video. Hope it taught you a little about it, installing pools, and if you do, please give us a thumbs up and think about subscribing. There'll be more to come. Thanks.